With the rapid rise of spectacular levels being brought to Geometry Dash, the community's building/creator scene has improved way more than anyone could have expected in the last few years. So much so that when we look back at the gameplay and decoration of levels from only a few years ago, we tend to consider most of them having an outdated presence compared to modern day creations. But just because it's from a different time doesn't mean that it makes any prior creation less impressive. Comparing levels such as Bloodbath by Riot and others to Bloodlust by Nobbleboy and more, there is a clear difference when it comes to quality/polishment, and demonstrates how a remastered version of any old level can reignite something special to bring more life to its original legacy. From then to now, the community has immensely grown in pretty much any way that you can think of, and today we will be highlighting one of these aspects. This is, in my personal opinion, some of the best Geometry Dash level remakes. Now, quick side note, let me explain what I define as a successful remake. To me, it is one that primarily focuses on expanding/modernizing the idea of its original work, and how it proceeds to follow through with its classicity when given more options to work with compared to its less diverse selection for its time. Now, with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and a huge thanks to the Tier 4 channel members. Reanimates by MAONO and more is widely considered to be a phenomenal remake of one of the best 2.0 levels at the time, Reanimation by Terron. While some people don't believe it to be considered a remake, instead an inspiration, it follows many similarities with its supposed predecessor by its shared thematic tone and decoration, which is why most players classify it as a remake. Reanimation is a 2.5-minute long 2.0 level that many titled to be the unofficial Death Moon sequel, which honestly is a fair assumption judging by how it looks side by side. Reanimates, however, does a great job resembling its former atmosphere, and not only does it provide a better job matching the music's intensity with its decoration, but according to the verifier's experience, Nexus, the gameplay feels equally consistent throughout the level. Compare that to the first 65% being much harder than the last 35% of Reanimation. I honestly really love how most, if not all of the decorator's parts stand out in their own unique way, and how it is never escaping the Death Moon sequel allegations. I love that the gameplay itself pays some homage to Terron's Reanimation, with its synced portal positioning, and the similarities within the first duel section just swaying around. While it is kind of a bummer that the boss fight section was removed, it does make sense to switch it up, considering an extreme demon boss fight wouldn't have been that difficult or original, making it unbalanced in a way that was similar to Reanimation. I find it very cool that most of the community didn't really mind the removal of it, since the boss fight was one of the most iconic parts of the level. Other than that, the level is amazing in so many ways, and in my opinion, a fantastic remake. MAONO, the decorators, and the gameplay designers did a great job putting Reanimates together, and I would highly recommend any of you to give both Reanimate and Terron's Reanimation a try. Anyways, let's go on to the next level remake. Dark Odyssey by Jonathan GD is a fantastic remake of his famous level Dark Travel back in April of 2017. It is an incredibly massive level with it containing an additional 100,000 plus objects to the remake, totaling a whopping 311,000 plus objects, which is heavily advised for low performance devices to avoid playing. It was originally meant to be a submission for the GD Discord server creator contest, since it contained a rule to remake a previous creator contest entry, in which Jonathan had submitted Dark Travel for Vibrant's Unknown Creator contest back in 2017, and he was able to achieve 3rd place. Good job, Jonathan. However, he was unable to finish Dark Odyssey in time, but continued on to not let his work go to waste. And finally, after 142 building streams, Jonathan finished decorating Dark Odyssey, and it instantly became a fan favorite. It goes without saying that it is great to see a creator improve their work as time progresses, and it is more exciting to see a remake of what made Jonathan GD's status stand out. Throughout the 6-minute 15-second long level, I feel as if the more you progress, the better the level's atmosphere becomes. Both Dark Travel and Dark Odyssey use the same song with the exact same length of gameplay, and both are Jonathan GD's self-proclaimed masterpieces from the same update. Personally, I absolutely love how both levels have the same feel of nostalgia, even though Dark Odyssey is meant to be a more modern and polished remake. But I feel as if you'd encounter a feeling of deja vu if you were to randomly select this level prior to knowing the level's name. Whether it is about familiarity, both gameplay and decoration-wise, or because of Jonathan GD's love for making extra long levels, Dark Odyssey heavily symbolizes dark travel in a way that is indescribably awesome. Jonathan GD did a phenomenal job keeping the original level's legacy, and I have no complaints about either of them, except for the fact that it annihilates my phone. Anyways, let's go to the next remake. Edge of Destiny by CD Music and More is considered to be one of Geometry Dash's most appraised level remakes of all time, but we have to look back at the origin of Blade of Justice to explain Edge of Destiny's existence. Back in 2016, the creators MAONO and LaserBlitz joined forces with their unique yet similar art style to create what was supposed to be the next iconic Top 1 Extreme Demon. This level was Blade of Justice, the sequel to A Bizarre Phantasm. It consisted of some of the greatest decorations the community had ever seen during the late 2.0 update, and was meant to be even harder than Bloodlust. However, over the course of several months, many verifiers would come and go, since almost no one could have predicted how difficult the level truly was. To say that the difficulty was way ahead of its time is a huge understatement, but I'll get back to that in a bit. Now, because MAONO and LaserBlitz did not want their project to die, they settled for Rico LP to verify the level. And Rico was told by MAONO to nerf it entirely so it could be released sooner rather than later. And Rico did just that, and he would verify Blade of Justice on July 3rd of 2017. Most of the community congratulated Rico for verifying it, but some were left disappointed for it losing its top level status, and it honestly kinda died down from there. Until one fateful moment in late October of 2020, where a single Discord call initiated the development of one of Geometry Dash's best level remakes in history. The host, CD Music, was offered assistance by both Salamander and Kulik in that one Discord call, aiming to get a quick head start on the project. CD agreed, and things would take off from there. They would use Dual Kiki's unnerfed version of Blade of Justice, and fix the gameplay while also adding some slight buffs to it. As time went on, more and more creators pitched in to further redecorate and polish the level. And finally, after 19 months of development, on June 10th of 2022, CD Music uploaded the final finished product of Edge of Destiny. The community was immediately hooked to give their appreciation and respect to everyone's contribution to the project, with millions pointing to Edge of Destiny's most iconic section, which was Kulik's part, consisting of a phenomenal transition between a supernova to the formation of a black hole. This sent shockwaves to the community in a very positive way, as there is not a single bad thing to point out against Edge of Destiny's attempt to rekindle the legacy and originality of Blade of Justice. It is personally one of my favorite levels of all time, and it'd be incredibly difficult to change my opinion on that. It honestly doesn't even look like it was made almost 3 years ago, which further demonstrates how perfect Edge of Destiny is compared to other level remakes. One more thing I wanted to mention is that the original unnerfed version of Blade of Justice was actually verified a whole 6 years later by a player named Most Definitely Albert on March 7th of 2024. And the fact that this was meant to be the next top 1 extreme demon after Bloodlust is just bizarre to think about it. Anyways, let's move on to the last one. Rage Quit by Blee is perhaps one of the most unexpected, yet remarkable level remakes ever seen by the community. I'm sure most of you watching at this point know or at least have heard of Rage Quit due to its recency, but in case you haven't, here's a tiny breakdown. On September 9th of 2024, YouTuber Wabu uploaded a video raising awareness of his latest creator contest, which consists of remaking RobTop's main level, Stereo Madness, in a specific amount of time. There were plenty of remake submissions, and a few of them were genuinely fantastic. However, Blee's submission was almost universally accepted to be the greatest Stereo Madness remake of all time. And unsurprisingly, Blee won Wabu's creator contest. So, about the level, where do I even begin? It completely throws you off the moment you realize something's off about the gameplay, as you start off with the incapability to jump twice, then immediately rage by breaking the tablet screen. And despite Rage Quit being slightly harder than Stereo Madness in my opinion, the visuals are completely jam-packed further into the level, with some of the most optimized and fantastic scenes ever seen by most of the community, with it containing less than 32,000 objects in total, which is still insane to think about. While not everyone considers Blee as one of Geometry Dash's best creators, it'd be ridiculous to not consider Rage Quit as remarkable. With its 3D effects, fake menu screen, mountainous/deep cave views, and more, it perfectly demonstrates exactly how most new players react when coming across Stereo Madness. It also fits perfectly with its visuals, and especially its name. And to me, it is absolutely an excellent and creative remake. So those were some of my personal favorite level remakes. Of course it wasn't every remake in existence, but I imagine at least someone in the comments would realistically believe I could add them all. But if you have a favorite level remake that was or wasn't featured here, let me know in the comments below, and maybe I could do a part 2. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and thank you all so much for 30,000 subscribers. Also, a huge thanks to all of my channel members that have stuck around me for many months. Thank you all for watching, and deinstitutionalization.